Hey, my name is Adan Hagley. I'm a pianist, arranger, composer, and producer. And I'm here today to talk about my very first album project entitled Insomnia. The name for the project came about based on a song that I wrote a number of years ago before entering Berklee College of Music in 2009. It was a time of a lot of anxiety, excitement, fear, going into music school. And one night I was laying there and this melody just started to haunt me in the night, and I had no choice, being the composer that I am, but to try and record some of these ideas. So I came to my keyboard in the middle of the night and I started to put down these ideas, and it was the first song that I ever wrote that came to me fully composed in my head. So the idea started with the song. For a number of years since coming back to Trinidad and performing with my band, people have been asking me, hey, when are you going to record some of your music, do an album? But I couldn't quite find the right concept. And one day I was sitting at a show. I was actually sitting at Vaughan at Bigfoot show at Little Carib, and the idea came to me. I'm like, hey, Insomnia is the perfect concept that I think depicts where my head was at, the turmoil of that period in my life. And it lends itself to a lot of visual representations as well. So that's how I came up with the concept for the album entitled Insomnia. Well, insomnia to me represents that mixture of emotions that we've all been through. So it represents that anxiety, that fear, that joy, that excitement, and you just cannot sleep in the night. And I think it truly reflects who I am as a person, and reflects the past 5-6 years or so of my life, where I've been in a kind of a transitional period where I'm always up at night thinking about things, thinking about the music, coming up with ideas and concepts. And it's such a wonderful concept that truly depicts how I feel, and that expression that I'm trying to get out. When did I start planning for this project? The solid planning for it started a year ago. So last year for my birthday, I decided that, hey, I think next year I want to do an album and I want to do a show. So I pretty much started planning from around my birthday last year in October. So it's been a full year of planning, going into the recording stage earlier this year, and then starting to put things in place for the show itself. It's a solid year of straight planning. It's been tough. It's had its moments where it's been really tough. Growing up in Point Fortin in the south, you come back to Trinidad and you expect, there'll be a lots of opportunities, but reality is a lot of people did not know me at the time. So I had to spend some time getting to know people, knowing the musicians, knowing who are the people that do shows in Trinidad, and just starting to put in the work, get my name out there. And that takes some time. So it took a while for me to really build myself. I started to freelance with a number of different bands. One at Bigfoot. I played with the Dominant 7 Calypso Jazz Band, Dean Williams, just to name a few. But I've been freelancing for a while, and it took a couple of years before I decided, hey, I think I want to branch out on my own and do my own music and bring my own vibe to the music scene. And things have progressively gotten better with each passing year. My band has performed at so many different events over the past couple of years. We've done Jazz on the Greens, North Coast Jazz, Point Fortin Jazz. We've performed at a number of events throughout Trinidad and Tobago. That's kind of hard to say. I think my expectations have been surpassed, just because I didn't think that, not I didn't think, but in terms of what I've accomplished in a short space of time, I think it has surpassed my expectations. I think that I'm doing very well, and that everything is going to happen in its own time. It's been a slow progression, but it's been a progression. Every year things have gotten better and better. Obviously, in the States, there's a lot more opportunities out there in terms of performing opportunities, but Trinidad still has so much to do. You just have to find your niche, find your own space, and learn how to capitalize on that. It's a bit tough being an artist performing in a genre outside of the soca and the reggae and calypso, but definitely there's a growing interest locally for music outside of the norm. So things have been getting better. So the key collaborators to the project, firstly on the recording side we have Heaven Sent Studios. That's Daniel Bishop, who recorded all of the live audio of the band at his studio, and then once that was finished I worked with Gideon Bishop of GMS Studios to work on the mix and editing of all the music, all of my songs. So we've been working on that tirelessly once everything was done recording. On the visual side, I have Mr. Ron Charles doing my artwork and director of photography. Photographers, we work with Melvin Isaac. And for the styling, we have Kezia Lendor. For my band, obviously I have my great band who has been working with me over the past couple of years. I have to give a shout out to them. On drums, we have Dareem Chandler. On bass, Rodney Alexander. On guitar, Miguel Charles. On the tenor saxophone, Daniel Ryan. And on the tenor pan, we have Mikael Salcedo. And on percussion, we have Ms. Sheena Richardson. So these guys have been working alongside me for a number of years now. On the video, we have Kerry Risher, who's been documenting the band from in the studio and recording this interview for me. Also, we have Azrael Bahadur doing additional video and photography for all of the album content. And we also have Janine Charles, who's doing my marketing for the project. Well, I wanted to work with people who are really the best at their field and have a commitment to producing high quality work. I really wanted everything from start to finish to be of the highest international standard. So definitely this team that I have is one of the best in Trinidad at what they do. So yeah, definitely quality is key. It's always a good time when my band and I meet up to create music. We've been playing for so long that we know each other very well. We have a very good working relationship. So it was non-stop vibes, non-stop laughter and fun in the studio and in between recording. From start to finish, it has been a great joy working with them, working alongside Gideon, who's been mixing and editing everything. It's definitely been a good time. The process for selecting the tracks wasn't that difficult. In the beginning, I only had about 4 songs, original songs. So it was a challenge deciding whether it's going to be an album or an EP. But actually once the process started, I had some other original songs that I actually wrote while they were rehearsing for the studio. So, it ended up being 7 songs in total, 5 originals and 2 covers. So the process wasn't difficult. It's just I wanted to have the right number of songs, not too much, not too little, and the right mix of different styles of music on the album. Songwriting process varies for everyone, and also for me it varies from song to song. So some of the songs like Insomnia, as I said, came fully composed, already written in my head. The other ones are inspired by other artists, other musicians and bands that I look up to. So definitely you're gonna hear the influence of bands like the Caribbean Jazz Project, Michel Camilo, Etienne Charles, Andy Narell, Ray Hallman, definitely Snarky Puppy, Robert Glasper, Chick Corea Electric Band. These are the bands that have influenced me. And Calypsonians as well, such as The Mighty Shadow. You'll hear the influence fused in the music. So there's a lot of fusing of different styles in my music. So the writing process, it could be anything from a bass line. Some of the songs start with just a groove. Some of them start with a melody. And I just go with it. I love orchestration. I love to play around with different chords. So I always think about the harmonies first. So I always think harmony first most of the time. But it varies so much. It's really hard for me to select a favorite song on the album. Just because I love all of them. But if I had to pick one, I would probably say Runaway, just because that one turned out so much different from how I envisioned it in my head. I think everyone in the band brought their own vibe, their own energy to my concept. And I was like, okay, this is not what I envisioned, but I love it. So we just kind of went with that. So that's like one of my favorites on the album. The album is definitely falls under the jazz fusion genre. So there's a lot of fusing of different styles of music. So you're gonna hear a lot of Latin influence, a lot of the jazz, blues, calypso. You're gonna hear some funk music in there. I've always been interested in bands such as like Spyro Gyra, Caribbean Jazz Project, that have fused so many different styles of music. You have samba in there, so it definitely falls under the jazz fusion genre. I'm hoping that this project will take my music to an international stage, take it up the islands and then take it up around the world. For me, the goal has always been not just Trinidad, but to be known globally. I think the music has a global appeal. A lot of people are interested in Caribbean music and jazz. So I think there's a little bit of something for everyone on this album, whether or not you're hardcore jazz or easy listening, or new to the jazz genre. There's a little bit of something for everyone in this album.